friends, to a 420 edition of Smarknado. I'm your host, Sour Druck Diesel. With me, as always, dirty Mexican weed, Dan says that. Dan,
So rude.
how are you doing today? Well, there's some truth in what I am saying right now because back in like 2005, yeah, Dan did give me some dirty Mexican weed.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you got to pay the bills.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I've done nothing but watch wrestling and partake and
Yeah,
not sleep. So,
it's been
but
it's been a
yeah,
good,
man. Yeah, man. How's your day so far?
pretty relaxing, bro. Without getting into too much detail, but uh,
Understood.
the
Understood.
goddamn obvious. But fully loaded with snacks and dinner and everything. So
What are you having for dinner?
I'm just gonna have another half of a Cardona sub that I got last night.
Cardona. That place is top notch.
Yeah, that place is awesome,
All right.
man. I love
All
a
right.
good Italian deli. You know,
Yeah.
so many choices and so many choices today in wrestling. But let's just before we get into the pay per view that's going to happen tomorrow, let's just go right off the bat talk about one of the maybe the most intriguing storyline going on right now. I think you could make an argument uh, about the bloodline, what's going on. Roman Reigns not being there, Solo Sikoa seemingly taking over as the leader, at least for right now.
You wanted to say taking the reins, didn't you?
I I did.
You did.
I don't know why I didn't just say that.
That's okay.
Maybe I didn't want to sound cheesy, but hey, this is a cheesy show, folks. Um, Paul Heyman just kind of being spooked by Solo Sikoa also. Brings to question like does Roman Reigns authorize what's going on here, or is Solo just doing a takeover? Because obviously he's brought in Tamatanga as
Yes.
his hired assassin, and I think that the execution with Tamatanga has just been excellent. In that, yes, first they address the fact that he's the son of Haku, and you know what, your own
What does
research.
MFT mean?
I was gonna ask that same question to you, bro. We lost Dan for a second, but
He's
just
back.
to
He's back.
take the reins, if you will, on this conversation, MFT, when I Googled it, was marriage and family therapist, and I was just like, wait a minute, I don't think Tamatanga is like that's too corny. Like I could see in the Vince era, he's like Vince, like actually writing that and being like, he's our MFT, our marriage and family therapist. Like that sort of corniness would align with what Vince McMahon will put out there. But I feel like it means something that we're not cool enough to know, Dan. That's kind of where I'm leaning
Yeah,
with it.
I have no idea. I hope and I pray it's not marriage and family therapist. That would be very silly. But yeah, it's a very intriguing story. Civil War is on its way. And it's got me watching Raw and SmackDown, and that's no, I'd say.
No, dude. Like I think that this is really a turning point in the WWE product. Like there, you got to think about how many things that they had shelved for so long that they weren't able to execute during the last 15 years of Vince having reigns over this era. Like they probably there's probably so many good ideas that they presented and it got rejected, but they're kind of putting it on ice, that now they're putting all those ideas out there. And that's at least how I feel about the product. I think that there's like a lot of meat to the bone of what WWE is going to be able to do without that, Vince McMahon, everything stopping at Vince McMahon, and he didn't allow most of that stuff to get on his TV. But I digress. And yeah, it's good stuff, and it does get people to watch Raw and SmackDown that wouldn't normally.
And it's also given us title belts that I don't think Vince ever would have approved. Honest to
No,
God.
definitely not. And you know, the operative word on these title belts, when you look at them close up, is wrestling. You know, they say wrestling again, and it's really cool to see that. But fucking a, bro, if these new belts are not some of the nicest new belts that we have seen in a very long time, and if this is a preview of like things to come of like new iterations of championships that may come down the line. Like I'd like to see a new Intercontinental title
Yeah,
for sure.
really badly. That
Yeah,
one is sprang to mind immediately. I was like, if they're gonna bring back an old version of an updated old version of the tag titles, they need to do the same with the Intercontinental title, in my opinion.
exactly. And as far as that current iteration of the Intercontinental title is concerned, I think that it's safe to just kind of get rid of it and have that be the championship that was always associated with Gunther, you know?
Yeah,
And because like it can just be synonymous with his era, and then they can move on to a different to a new championship to symbolize a new era of the Intercontinental title.
sure.
But yeah, the new championships that came out. First of all, I thought that the World Tag Team Championships, they're great, but I didn't like go gaga for them. I went gaga for the WWE Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, this was much different. Both were really good. These ones were above and beyond, in
Yeah,
my humble opinion. I think that it, like I said, it's a throwback to my favorite version of the titles.
mine too. Yeah,
So
absolutely. I've been like dying for that design to come back, and this is certainly a good tribute to that. Um, but yeah, we're a little all over the place. I did just want to go back and touch on the Bloodline storyline again.
yeah,
Um, I think that this is very exciting. This is bringing a new chapter to the Bloodline story, which presumably is going to end up being the Usos and Roman against Tama, Solo, and presumably Jacob Fat too. So, and I think that might end up being the War Games matchup, man.
I mean, it's War Games. I mean, they would have to add a few more on each side, right? It's
Maybe
not going to be 3-on-3.
who is Rock? I think Rock would probably align with Solo.
Yeah, so then 4-on-4. You think Rock is going to do a War Games match?
I think he would.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Dude, like once if he's the last one to come out, and in that type of match, you can kind of you can take naps for a little bit if you're knocked out. I think there's a way to do it without like having him exert so much of his physical capabilities to the max.
He didn't look good in a tag team match. I don't think he
But
looked
he looked
horrible.
good. I don't.
I don't.
I'm not of that camp that said that he didn't look good at all.
I don't think he looked great. I think he looked like The Rock, who's never looked great.
Okay, so
Personally.
then what do you want? Okay, Dan Apple Express.
It's true though. He's never been a top notch in ring competitor and
Yeah,
a
but
work
like
rate guy.
then you shouldn't expect anything over that expectation.
But I want that from my War Games competitors.
Okay. Well, like it's not to say that like I think that The Rock could have hung around in a War Games match back in 1998,
Yeah,
100%.
maybe. Yeah,
Like if fucking Ric Flair was doing it, Kurt Hennig was doing it, he can do it. Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Hogan did it. Whatever Hogan could do, Rock could do better.
Ooh, hot take. Hot take.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But I'm just excited to see how this is going to go. How do you think they're going to introduce Jacob Fatu? Because I feel like that's almost like a given, don't you?
I
think?
mean, I assume it's going to be a backlash, right? Like the sooner the better. But maybe not until Roman sort of confronts Solo. That's probably my guess.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think that that's going to be a backlash. So we're probably looking at a couple weeks of this back and forth until Roman shows back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. They got my attention. I'm very intrigued. Let's see what goes down.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but feel like this is a moment of realization to me that even though Cody won the championship, the most interesting thing leading out of WrestleMania is what's going to happen to the bloodline versus Cody's actual like story continuing. Now that like he kind of has hit the like climax of it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But it's not to say that I don't think Cody is going to end up having a good reign, but I just think that it's funny that coming out of WrestleMania, what is going on with the bloodline seems to be more intriguing than Cody's actual like title reign.
I mean, I'm into Cody versus AJ.
I am too, and I think that they could make it interesting. I would like them to play up the fact that both these guys were members of the Bullet Club.
Have they said Bullet Club on WWE TV?
I
I
think
know they
they.
said that other club and things of that nature, but have they actually come out and used the word Bullet Club?
I've
Or
heard Michael Cole say it.
has he? Okay, I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we'll see how that all plays out. And if I looking at Cody's reign right here, I kind of feel like through Cody's reign, I think after this first reign, he is going to end up turning heel and is going to start his own kind of version of the Four Horsemen.
Okay, with who?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We'll see who comes out of the woodwork, but I
Sean,
see that
Sean Spears.
I see that as like the natural progression for Cody, because like Cody has already hit the apex of his arc as a babyface and is the champion right now. He can have a respectful reign and all that, but for the purposes of there being such a risk of becoming stale as a babyface,
Mm-hmm.
I think that after his reign, maybe he should step into the dark side a bit.
Go full Homelander.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with it.
Yeah. Especially if over the course of the next year they really put a lot of energy into building some strong new baby faces.
How long do you think this title reign lasts?
Oh, by the way, for Cody's group, Braun Breaker, I think would be a good person that would be in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That lineage, the lineage, you start to think it turns into not evolution. What was his other faction there?
Legacy.
Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. With Randy Orton, his own version of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as Cody's title reign is concerned, I can see it going Survivor Series or beyond. If he is going to drop the title, I think it will be at like Survivor Series.
Oh, okay. You don't think it's going to be longer than that? Wow.
I said I can see it being next WrestleMania. If it is going to be on the long end, because I don't see him losing it at Royal Rumble nor whatever in between pay-per-view they would have. But if it is going to be like within the next year, I can see it being Survivor Series.
I could see Cody being the kind of guy that would want to defend his title in the Royal Rumble since he won it 2 years in a row, and that be his undoing.
I think I would lose a lot of respect for him as a babyface, or really just like not as a babyface, just as a logical professional wrestler by volunteering to defend the championship in a Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I don't think that's like. I think that's more stupid than admirable, and maybe that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll see. I think he is.
No, it's fine. You can just keep calling me stupid. It's fine. My ideas are stupid. I love you too.
Oh, Dan. I don't
Oh,
think your idea is stupid.
I know it's
I just
fine.
think I just think the logic of Cody saying that he wants to
I mean,
defend the championship
oh,
in a Royal
all
Rumble.
right. Oh, okay. So we always equate logic to
Dan, this is
wrestling.
a happy day. This is
It is a
420,
happy.
buddy.
I am
Come
happy.
on.
I'm very happy.
Yeah. See, you're not a stupid person. It was just a stupid idea. But we can move on. All right. All right. Excuse me. Yeah. So let's talk about something else that happened this past week,
Yes.
namely in the last couple of days. There were a handful of WWE releases that have come out. The full list right here. We have Jinder Mahal, both members of Indushir, Veer Mahan and Sangha, Zaya Lee, and Zion Quinn. From the report, at least from Mike Johnson, a, it's not fun when somebody loses their job, but a refreshing thing to read here is that they were a lot more like sympathetic to the people that they were releasing, and they weren't like as cold as prior, administrations had been. So that at the very least was okay to hear. But when I see these list of wrestlers that are here, the first of which comes to mind as somebody who I think that they could have done a lot more with was Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
I do want to say that his actual title reign was unjustified. I thought it was just not good, and he was not ready for it. But if there was anything that came out of that, I felt like he proved that he is a capable, like, mid card act. And
Ah.
I thought it was very unceremonious how right after that reign, they relegated him immediately back to being like a jobber versus
Yeah. I
actually
mean,
like
it's.
being someone on the mid card that like can get some guys over and be a solid act. Yeah,
I
we
thought
didn't
his
really see
title
much of
reign
that.
was a lot better than people gave him credit for. I just think it was a little on the long side.
Yeah,
Um.
it was definitely too
So
long.
yeah, I
That's
think
true.
would it go 9 months or something like
Mhm.
that? If it was six, I think people might have given it a little less grief than they typically tend to do. But I don't think it was that bad of a title reign if you go back and look at it.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that it's a shame what happened to Jinder. As far as Jinder continuing to wrestle, I think the easiest thing that comes to mind is like Impact, especially
Yeah,
him being Canadian.
yeah,
I think that seems like a natural fit for him,
I completely
and
agree.
I feel the same way about Xia Li. Like I can see her going to Impact also.
Yeah,
Hmm.
both of them are they'll find jobs whether it's doing signings or whatever. Their names and they're popular enough. I'm just wondering if there's more coming down the pipe. That's my curiosity because
Um, Vi-
gender surprises me a
so
little
Mike
bit.
Johnson, at the very least, is reporting that that's the extent of the list of cuts for this round. So
Hmm.
I don't know if there's more coming. I think it's going to be a little bit of time before we hear anything more. Um, but yeah, I mean, of those remaining talents that are there, I be honest, didn't really see anything in Zion Quinn.
Yeah,
Um,
I couldn't tell you one Zion Quinn match. I'm sorry for that. My
he was
apologies.
just he was a look, you know.
Okay.
I didn't really see anything past that. Veer Mahan
Sorry,
and
Zion Quinn.
Song Indu Sheer, I thought that's just kind of like such a dead on arrival tag team when I look at them. And I think that the biggest thing that WWE missed on as far as Veer Mahan is concerned is actually capitalizing on the fact that he had a goddamn Disney movie made about him called $1 Million Arm. Like the fact that they never even chose to acknowledge that is so weird to me. And like if this guy is not working in his current gimmick and he's just floundering for like 5 fucking years, why not capitalize on the fact that give him like some sort of fucking fastball finisher, you know? Like I don't know. Like why couldn't they do something like that? That was just so confusing to me because it was just so easy.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He was coming for a really long time, though.
Okay, Dan. I think that signals that we have set our piece as far as the releases are concerned. Um,
I would say
yeah.
so.
So let's just get into this past week's Dynamite, and then we're gonna do our predictions for Dynasty, which is happening tomorrow night. All right.
Yeah.
First of all, Dynamite kicked off with Jon Moxley making his way to the ring, new crowned IWGP champion here. I thought overall it was a really good promo. It was nice to see Mox back. It's nice to see him with new hardware, even though aesthetically I don't like the hardware, but I still feel the IWGP.
God, so
It is, it is,
bad.
it is. But I still say the
It's really bad.
IWGP title does hold a lot of merit. Um, and
Yeah.
him being their champion, I think it's a good move to make, especially in this down period where they need new stars. So to bring in somebody like Moxley that can like carry the brand, while also like cultivating new stars that they have in their back pocket, like Yoda Suji and you know,
I don't think Naito
Shota.
was doing it, man. Like, I don't think Naito is doing it. And as much as I like Naito, I really do. I think the change was right.
Yeah, and also the
Mox is a
fact
good
that like I thought it was a nice story this past year of Naito winning the G1 tournament. Him kind of shutting up the naysayers that said like his time was kind of coming to an end. So this was a nice way for him to kind of get his championship back, have a nice little reign, drop it to someone that has a lot of, name recognition like a Jon Moxley. And I think that the best thing for Naito is maybe they should do a talent switch. Bring Naito over to AEW while Moxley is in New Japan, because
Align him with Roosh.
fresh coat of paint over there in AEW for Naito, and he's somebody that is, while he had become old hat in New Japan, he would be new and refreshing to AEW audiences.
I completely agree.
So that being said, I thought that Moxley's promo was good, and he addressed the current feud that BCC is having with the Don Callis family. I guess the one thing I want to bring up is that taking away from this promo, I didn't really see it as a rally cry, rah rah, go AEW promo as some people did, like to the same ilk as Copeland's promo and Tony Khan. What do you think, Dan?
I think it teetered. I think it came really close. I think that there was points where I was like, I groaned and I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. But then he made his way back and he reeled me back in. I don't think it was necessarily a rah-rah AEW promo. I think it was a Moxley promo.
I agree with that too. But next backstage segment with Mercedes, she's going to get whoever attacked her. Okay. Next we had, I just don't like her on the mic, man. And I think everyone is being reminded that, when there's a lot of hype for Sasha, and I think that like her matches are cool and everything, especially when she like goes into that gear that a lot of talents don't have. But I don't love her promos.
I think her promos are fine. I just think we've seen too many of them. I think we kind of get the same thing, and I think her presence is taking away from the title match, in my opinion. Right? Like it's taken away from the people that are in it. I think if she were just to say, okay, well, I got next, and then pop back up when the time comes to actually wrestle and do what we all want her to do. I believe that absence makes the heart grow fonder in a lot of ways. And we don't need the same promo from her every week, which, like I said, it just seems we're getting, unfortunately.
I mean, of course, this was a follow-up to the attack that happened before last week. But yeah, it's just, I feel like we do just kind of needed, at least for Mercedes, quote unquote like debut match on Dynamite. Like put her against somebody just for a debut match she doesn't necessarily have to feud with yet. And I feel like that would have fed our appetite at least a little bit as far as what we want to see from Mercedes, because it is every week, you're just kind of hearing the same thing over and over again. So let's do something a little bit different, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, next we had Copeland and Willow against Brody King and Julia Hart. Willow got attacked here. I'm still thinking it is Chris Statlander. Don't you think, Dan?
Attacking everybody?
Yeah, both Willow and Mercedes.
Okay. I can buy that.
What else do you think?
I mean, I didn't really have a theory about it because I was so sort of groaning over the whole thing anyway. I just think it's kind of jumbled. But Chris Statlander fits. And I think we all have kind of seen that dark side come sort of on the same trajectory as we got out of Trent.
Yeah. And I think it would tie into also that little segment that happened after Trent turned on Orange Cassidy, where Chris Statlander confronted him, and then he like whispered something in her ear, and she seemed to like kind of understand.
Shook.
So yeah, who knows? Anyway, Willow ended up coming back valiantly to finish the match here, but she was weakened and she was already passed out by the time Heartless was locked in. And yep, that's that.
I'm never a big fan of mixed tags. I would rather just see an intergender match. Like mixed tags never go smoothly, if I may.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I honestly, I would not have minded seeing Willow and Brody King trade strikes with each other.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I think they would have a slugfest.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. Next, Joe was backstage with Renee. And yeah.
Bro, this promo was brutal. Not bad brutal. Like brutal like
the level of violence that there's a Samoa Joe has a very, very diabolical mind. I think
just called him a punching bag. That's so rude, bro. Like it's so rude. I loved it.
Yep. Okay, so next trios match, we had Okada and the Bucks against Daniel Garcia, Pac, and Penta. I mean, this was fine. You know what the brew in this match for me was picture in picture. And it always does. And then
every time.
Once like Matt Jackson got on the microphone and was saying stuff, it was just picture in picture the whole time, and it just Dude, you know what I have to start doing is I think like international, I need to get VPN. And I think international customers are able to watch it on Fight without commercials. So like that's how I want to watch Dynamite now, because a match like that shouldn't be losing my interest, but it does because of picture in picture. Yeah,
it sucks. That's why pay-per-views are that much better.
All right, next we had in the ring Taz brokering a meeting between Hook and Chris Jericho. This is basically, you know what?
Is what that is.
All right. Well,
sorry. Go ahead.
I am at least happy that this is the way that they are playing out this angle, rather than forcing like Hook to be buddy with Jericho. I think that this is better for Hook than the latter would have been. And they are going to have to finish this storyline somehow, man. They already started it. If this is going to result in Hook looking a lot better, awesome. And it is kind of interesting that they are doing a gimmick where a veteran is giving unsolicited advice to a young wrestler and they're not taking it. It just plays to real life.
Yeah, they like to do that, but they do that in other spots and they get roasted. You like it here?
I don't like it here, but like if they're going to do it, they're at least making it a little bit interesting. It's not like I support this angle happening really at all, but at least the execution is this direction versus, again, like him and Hook having like an insufferable alliance with each other.
I just think you should just have the same energy regarding all the other shots they're subtly taking or not so subtly taking at the other guys here as you do.
Well, this is
else.
a lot more subtle, and they're not actually like showing video footage of a backstage an incident that happened on a wrestling TV show.
But you got like violently angry over the Rhodes versus the Samoan Joe.
Right?
Like, you got mad at that. You got pretty angry.
I didn't get angry. It's eye roll inducing, is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You had some. I think you had some choice for it.
Yeah, it is fucking stupid. Like it didn't like piss me off, but like it's dumb, And like you can't even compare them showing the video footage to that because
no, the video footage is a completely different monster. We're not even gonna talk about that. No. That's a whole nother thing. I'm talking about the subtle shots. You know what I mean? Not the.
I mean, like the
atom bomb.
This is a subtle shot, and I just thought that Rhodes versus Samoa Joe was corny. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what it is, and hopefully we just get a blow off from the feud at the pay-per-view. Yeah.
Better.
All right.
Put Jericho out.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we had Swerve backstage with Renee Paquette, and he wants to be the champion. Blah blah blah.
It is kind of getting a little repetitive at this point. Thankfully, this is the go home show here, and we're gonna get what we get come Sunday.
All right. Next, we had Deanna versus Mariah May. Yeah, this was all right, I guess.
It was a women's match.
Yeah, I don't understand
that they put on the show. Thank you.
I just don't understand the booking of the women's matches every week. Like at least like book a women's match that actually has like some heat to it.
Some weeks are better than others, but yeah.
Like I think there was heat to this like right after Deanna lost to Tony because of Mariah May. Like, so if they put this match in that spot, like right after that happened, I understand that, but like, it's been like a couple months since that happened. So it's just like, I don't know. I just put somebody in that spot that of two women that are actually feuding with each other.
Sure.
All right. Next we had the Bang Bang Gang backstage with Renee Paquette. I didn't give a fuck. Sorry. Did you?
Okay. I mean, it got us to the point that I wanted, and that we're going for title for title, which essentially I think is going to be the unification match. So yeah, I liked that fact.
Also, I just think that these two teams after this unification match, they just need to separate from each other because like they've been involved with each other for like two different feuds,
it's got to be over with at this point.
Yeah, let's have these teams go their separate ways. I just want to see them feud with someone fresher.
Give us Jay White that we know. We give us the good Jay White. because this is, there's been
He's floundering.
glimpses of what he can do, and just not enough there. So hopefully they turn Bullet Club Gold into real heels and do what Bullet Club is meant
Mm-hmm.
to do.
All right, next we had OC against Shane Taylor. I thought this was a really good match. I enjoyed it very much, actually.
Shane Taylor, every week is getting better and
Mm-hmm.
better,
And what a
and
fucking
you
right
know,
hand he
um,
has.
yeah, this whole match, I mean, as unbelievable as the old heads want to call it, it was fantastic because I thought that Orange, you know, anybody can knock somebody else
Mm-hmm.
out if they hit him in the right
Yeah.
spot. Period. End
Yeah.
of story. Like that's it. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying a child can knock out a grown man or whatever, but like two grown men, you hit somebody in the right spot, you can put them down. I've seen it happen more times than I can
I
count.
also
Right.
see
So
Orange Cassidy as like in wrestling as a mythical type entity that has ability beyond his physical like look and capabilities. So I have a better time believing that Orange Cassidy knocked out Shane Taylor than say, I don't know, Kyle O'Reilly even, just in the context of wrestling and like how he's been
okay,
booked, because he
okay,
just he just seems to always like win above the expectation of who you think he's going to beat, you know?
every
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I believe it. Just you can call it suspending your disbelief, but like just based on the booking of Orange Cassidy of how it's always been, I can always believe Orange beating a guy like Shane Taylor. But
Okay.
I thought that after this match, it was really interesting with Shane Taylor Promotions blindsiding Orange Cassidy and, Matt Seidel, Christopher Daniels coming down to try to make the save. And Trent cracks them with a steel chair. Trent's not allowing anybody to help Orange Cassidy. Um,
This is good shit,
this is
bro.
really interesting shit. You get the big right hand from Shane Taylor, which, by the way, it's like Shane Taylor, very impressive right hand, but it's kind of interesting. Like, and again, I talked about the illogic of Orange Cassidy beating Shane Taylor, but when you have someone like Anthony Ogogo in your group and Shane Taylor is the one that delivers the right hand, it's like what, why, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Not the Olympic
I couldn't
boxer.
help
Yeah.
but think of that. Um, but yeah, I want to see how this goes on with Trent and OC. I'm very excited, and I think Trent faces Matt Seidel in the Dynasty 0 Hour.
Yeah. 0 Hour's got like 3 matches on it, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
And we will go over that. Next,
Sure
absolute
will.
banger of the night: Claudio versus Will Ospreay. This is a match I always wanted to see, man.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of matches after Osprey wrestles him that we're going to say, man, this is always a match I wanted to see that I never even like necessarily thought
Yeah.
about. Um, but I think it was the one of the most inventive ways of getting out of that giant swing and sort of finishing off the match. Um, at the same time as not necessarily making Claudio look too
Mm-hmm.
weak, right? It's it was just a thing of
Yeah.
beauty.
Yeah, dude. It was
A hot dog
yeah,
match.
definitely a hot dog match. Just really great counters. Everything that you expected to see, just like the babyface comebacks from Osprey, the feats of strength from Claudio, of course. And I like the fact I like how Osprey has used the same combination to finish off guys lately with his matches, which is the Sky Twister pressed, and then he goes in the corner
Mm-hmm.
and finishes them off with the hidden blade to the back of the head. I think that's a really great finish.
Yep.
And hidden blade is just a finish that he can hit on anybody, and I think it's like convincing
Yes.
enough of a strike that anybody can be knocked out from it.
Yeah, your neck nerves and whatnot. Yeah, that's a brutal one. Anything to the back of the head, and especially in an unsuspecting
Mhm.
manner, is gonna
And
knock
that's
you
what,
out
and
and be
again, you
convincing.
saying that too, that's also what a lot of people forget about how Adam Cole wrestles, because people will shit on Adam Cole for his size, his lack of size, but he does
Hmm.
bring his opponent down to his level, and he hits moves like that, like the knee to the back of the head to knock them out cold.
Hmm.
And it's not like you're sitting there like, how could he pull that off? Like, if anybody did that, it works, you know?
Hell, I mean, you could say that about Kenny to an
Hmm.
extent, right? Like he's not the tallest of tall. Okada's a bigger guy. So he wrestles a lot of bigger dudes too. So yeah, I see what you mean there for sure.
For sure. But overall, great match. I think
Mr.
that
Kenny.
post match, the attack that happened, what was accomplished here is Osprey having an uneasiness about the Don Callis family. And I think that we are going
Yeah,
to probably, you think we're going to see something definitive at Dynasty, like a definitive split?
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, Osprey's the biggest baby face out there right now, so it just does not make sense for him to keep
Hmm.
going. He's wrestled them all as friends. He's ultimately gonna have to face them,
Yeah.
right?
For sure. All right. Next, closing segment. Swerve in the ring calls out Samoa Joe. Uh, they have a big brawl, and I think that it ended the way it should have before a big show like this. Especially, Dan is definitely in the camp of people that think Swerve is going to win. I'm in the camp of people that want Swerve to win with Dan. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I think that
Hmm.
for Dan's part of, wanting or thinking Swerve is going to win, this was a good sign here with Samoa Joe standing tall over
Yeah,
Swerve in the go home show, because that's usually like, a tell.
it's usually it's the ultimate tell, right? And we've been fooled here and there, and could easily be fooled again if Tony Khan wants to go that route because Joe is a formidable champion. Um, and maybe Tony Khan has plans. I just think if you Tony Khan has failed to strike while the iron is hot in the past, and I think if he fails to do it again here, that's going to be a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow, especially considering I mean, we're of different minds, the amount of people that are upset with him right now, but upsetting more people, I don't think is going to be beneficial to him and the company. And I think that not having Swerve win here at Dynasty is going to upset people.
Yeah. And to that point, I don't think Tony cares that much right now about what people think. As
I'm here. I'm hoping he cares what people think, and I'm praying that he does, and I'm assuming he does. I can't, say for certain, obviously, but I hope for the best. That's all.
For sure. All right. So overall, I thought it was a pretty solid Dynamite, especially compared to the stinker that happened the
Mhm.
week before. I thought that this was a good bounce back. So we're going into Dynasty tomorrow night. So let's do our who you think, who you got. Dan, let's start off with the pre-show. We have OC Katsuyori Shibata against Shane Taylor Promotion, Shane Taylor, and Lee Moriarty.
Obviously, I have OC and Shibata, and obviously, I want OC and Shibata, two of my favorite wrestlers.
I want OC and Shibata, but I think STP takes it here. I
Interesting.
do, because
Okay.
I think that they're giving them a little bit more shine these days, and I think that Trent is going to play a role into OC not winning this match.
So you think Trent is the running theme for 0 Hour?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Trent
Cool.
versus Matt Sydal. I think Trent kills Matt Sydal.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. I mean, that's what I want. I mean, I don't want to see Trent lose here.
Nah. All right, pre-show. Of course, it's the pre-show. Just reading, guys. All right, Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, Daddy S, versus Bullet Club Gold for a unification match, Ring of Honor, and AEW Trios Championships. Bullet Club Gold.
They haven't announced that it's a unification match, by the way. Just
Oh, they
for
haven't.
the
Okay.
record, they've only said it's title for title. I think Bullet Club Gold wins as
Yeah.
well.
I think I kind of want the Acclaim to win, though.
I do too, because like I said, I want Jay White to go off and
because
do
it
his thing.
gets the trios titles off of him.
Yeah.
Next, what we have here is the AEW International Championship. Roderick Strong defends against his former friend Kyle O'Reilly. I want O'Reilly to win, but I think Roderick Strong retains.
I'm in the exact same camp as you.
I think it'd be a nice surprise if Kyle O'Reilly won.
I don't like hot shotting that title.
Yeah.
But yes, it would be a great surprise. I just, like I said, I don't like hot shotting the title at all.
All right, next we have 6-man tag, Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, Mark Briscoe against the House of Black. I am going to go House of Black here.
Me too. I think that Eddie and Mark can't get along for some reason. I think that there's still some form of tension there somehow.
I think that the results of this match is, I don't know if Eddie and Mark don't get along, but I think it ends with Malachi beating Copeland. And I was thinking maybe like Brody King is next in line to challenge Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor title.
God, Brody King needs a singles run, man. That dude is just over as hell.
Agreed, man. All right, so next for the FTW World Heavyweight Championship, Dan's favorite match of the night. You can stamp Dan's name on this because he loves it so much. Hook defending against Chris Jericho. Dan, you got your glasses on like a stern father.
I actually have to pick this match. Hook's gonna win. I want Hook to win, and I want this to be the end all on that. Jericho. I hope Jericho is out for some time, not with a legitimate injury. I don't wish that upon anybody. But yeah, I want him to go away for a while.
100%,
Don't tell me to
100%.
go
And I think
that's on Twitter.
As much as Jericho may not want to admit it, that's the best thing for his career to come back and have a new look. But let's give that like at least 6 months before we see him again. For the TBS Championship, Julia Hart defends against Willow Nightingale. I predict this is tough. I think Willow. I want Willow to win. I always want Willow to win. I think a surprise here is that Julia Hart retains.
Nah, man, Willow. I want Willow to win, and Willow does win to set up the match against Mercedes. Yeah.
Okay. So who do you think ultimately ends up being the attacker? Britt Baker, plot twist.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah. No, I'm gonna say that the attacker was Sky Blue.
Okay.
On behalf of Julia.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Hopefully, we get a resolution or a very strong clue at Dynasty.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. For the AEW World's Tag Team Championships, the tournament final ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR versus the Young Bucks. Wow. All right, this is going to be a good one, bro. This has the potential to steal the show. I think that it could steal the show. The real stiff competition with Ospreay and Danielson here. By the way, John brought up a really good point today. Don't like that Danielson is wrestling in a fucking bunkhouse match, tag team match the night before Dynasty. That's a very, It's a move that makes me nervous
Yeah,
considering who Bryan Danielson is and the history that he's
yeah,
had.
but I've heard that, and correct me if I'm wrong if you've never ever heard this, but I've heard that a lot of times these are a lot less likely to get you injured in a way that you can't wrestle again than a regular match would.
Because it's mostly
I
brawling.
don't know if that's something.
Because it's brawling and
Yeah,
like going around the arena and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe that's just something I'm making up in my head, or I've
I
actually
mean,
heard
if it's,
somewhere, but it makes
I can
sense to me.
understand if it is truly like a Memphis style like brawl and they're going through the arena and like Danielson is not the one that's like taking the brunt of like the bumps. Then I can
Yeah,
understand that point, but we'll have to see. We'll know in collision. We'll see how light they go on
that's what I
Danielson.
think.
But
Hmm.
yeah, going back to this tag team match, I think that the Young Bucks win it. I kind of want the Young Bucks to win it because I think it's best for storylines.
Really?
I think it's best for storylines right
Yeah.
now, and
Okay.
I think that they get help from Jack Perry to win these tag.
But as a fan, who are you rooting for?
FTR.
As the it's still real to me, damn it, you're gonna be
Yeah,
pulling for FTR, right?
FTR. Like, yeah, I'll actively be rooting for FTR in this match, but ultimately, in terms of booking, I think the Young Bucks as the tag team champions and having a very strong like heel run on top, I think is a good
Way
move.
better. I'm a bigger Bucks fan, so I'm rooting for the Bucks and for all those reasons that you said. And even as a fan, I like them better, so I'm gonna pull for them. It's gonna be a show stealer.
Yeah. All right, next for the AEW Women's World Championship, Tony Storm defends against Thunder Rosa. I think this is going to be a really good match, but I think that Tony retains.
I'm gonna disagree. I think Thunder Rosa wins here,
Wow,
and I want to see her
new
win.
champion.
Yeah,
Okay, I like it, Dan.
I
I
do.
like it.
I do.
I'd like to see Thunder Rosa win, so you can put me in the hat for I want Thunder to win. Then, of course, the dream match: Will Ospreay against Bryan Danielson. I think I'm always going to be rooting for Bryan Danielson, so I want Bryan Danielson to win this.
Yeah.
But Will Ospreay will win this.
Will Ospreay's definitely gonna win, and I want Will Ospreay to win. I just do. I'm just it's his
Yeah,
turn.
I agree. And it's the right move to have Ospreay win because I feel like it would hurt his momentum to lose a match really at all. Because I think that the smartest thing for them to do with Ospreay is from now to All In, just have a nonstop upward trajectory where he's really not losing any matches, and it brings him to the main event of Wembley, and yeah, we can take off from there. And of course, for the AEW World Championship, I think you guys
You skipped a match.
I did.
The Continental
Continental
Championship,
Championship, Okada versus Pac.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. This is fuck. When you talk about matches of the night, I think that this also they're gonna put their names in the hat, man. These guys.
This card has a chance to be an all timer. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okada and Pac are gonna tear the fucking house down. And
I mean, if you just think about it, man, like just real quick, Roddy Kyle, crazy chemistry. Yep. Hook Jericho's gonna suck. Given the trios match is gonna be really good because of the level of talent. Julia versus Willow is gonna be intriguing as a house rules match. Ladder match gonna fuck for all eternity, right? And then Tony and Rosa are just both top quality women's wrestlers are gonna put on a 100%. Solid match.
Yep.
Like and Ospreay Danielson, blah blah blah. It's just insane how good this.
It really is. It really is when you look at it, and yeah, I mean you can argue all you want about did they book this, did they build this the right way? Maybe not in some circumstances, but what the finished product is going to be really really good. And I feel like that is the narrative of a lot of what AEW does. Is there some things that they need to work on in terms of like layering storylines at times? And yeah, sure. But their bread and butter is putting on these incredible cards, and this one certainly meets that high bar that they've been setting for a long time. But again, Swerve versus Samoa Joe, AEW World Championship. I want Swerve to win, as I said before, but I do think that Samoa Joe retains.
We disagree, but that's okay. It's a subjective art form. I am going with Swerve to win. I'm going with a handful of title changes on this show. I think it's where it needs to be, and it sort of resets the title scene a little bit. And Samoa Joe can, be put in any feud anywhere, and be okay. And I'm excited for this.
I am too.
This whole show, top to bottom.
It's going to be, as you like to say, humper for sure.
A humpa.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna hump.
All right, friends. So,
All right,
yeah, I think that's really it for this week. Otherwise, we got 420 going on right now. Very important playoff game happening at 6:00 today between the Sixers and the Knicks. Go Sixers. I think Dan.
Go Knicks.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I thought. Are you actually watching the Knicks these days? Do you have faith in them again?
No. I mean, no. I'll never really truly have faith. They broke my heart way too many times. But I am gonna watch the game tonight. I do think, just because, why not? I think I might throw some money on it too, just for funsies.
All right. Don't think I'm gonna do that, but fuck, man, I really hope this is a great series. But as always, guys, follow us on Instagram at Smarknado, on Twitter at Smarknado1. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and go check out our link tree. Lots of fun stuff there. Our YouTube page, What a Maneuver store.
Coolsies.
Knock yourself out, guys. And do you have anything left for us,
man? I got nothing left. I was gonna yell "Go Knicks" at you in this segment, but instead I'll just say, "Stay fresh, cheese bags."
Keep watching wrestling. Go Sixers.
Go Knicks.
Sixers.
Go Knicks.